Alrighty, so here is that second deck I was talking about. All right, so should be pretty standard. But yeah, so as you can see, this is a deck that I won, what was it? 3 events, 3 Winnamats with. Had a great time with it, was a ton of fun, and was still missing some cards, so it would have performed even better, but I'm happy with it. I think it was like 50% of the events that I tried, I ended up winning, and I got really close in most of them. And I didn't have any like soul-crushing games, to be honest. So let's get started. As you can tell, this is Heroes. So we have 3 Ejector. This card is crazy. Circular, but for Heroes, oh my goodness. So it sends for cost in Neospatian, and then it summons itself from hand on resolution. Then the effect on summon adds a spell trap that specifically mentions any elemental hero monster's card name in its text. The implications is huge, but you're almost always searching only a handful of cards, if not 2 or 3. So, you know, but the implication is crazy because there is a lot of weird niche elemental hero themed cards that have a elemental hero monster's name in its text. And if anything ever comes out in the future, it will instantly just be better. Because of that, I honestly think 2 Stratos is fine. You know, 3 Miracle Ejector, 2 Stratos, I think is totally okay. Again, it does get hit by Droll pretty bad, but this deck always has, always will for the longest time, until there is an Omni Negate. I'm running 3 Mali. You know, we still have this package. We still run Mali. It's just too good. Until maybe the Destiny Hero, the other Destiny Hero stuff comes out. 1 Liquid Soldier, super good. Spirit and Neos for the combo. I really like this card. For the 1 card turn skip. As you will notice, we are playing specifically the Neospatian variant that turn skips. I think it poses such a unique position in the meta where people have to play differently and hand trap differently, otherwise they will get turn skipped. I'll kind of explain what I mean later. Because of that, we have 1 Shadow Mist, an awesome searcher, 1 Denier for the 3 Mali that acts as our 4th Mali. Then we have the Vision Hero package, 3 Ferris, which we're still playing for now. I'll discuss that a little bit too. Speaking of 2, we have 2 Vion. Such a good normal summon. Again, the 2nd best normal summon in the deck because Miracle Ejector is special summoning, so you only have 2 normal summon targets. Now I'm running, that's right, 2 Increase. I am still a believer in the fact that if you're running the Vision package, the Vision package itself is near completely dead if you draw your 1 of Increase. Again, I'm sure math disagrees with me, and that's totally fine. But again, you just completely miss out on an engine if you draw this. So I think running 2 is fine, because if you draw into Increase, you still can eventually go into your combos. 1 Neos, you gotta have it. I like the QCR. And then of course we're playing the 1-ofs, the other bricks in the deck, sadly, unless they ever get retrained. But yeah, Grand Mole, Dark Panther, and Aqua Dolphin are honestly kind of the best 3. Obviously, Hand Rip, Bounce, and then honestly becoming anything on the field is kind of hilarious. Never came up, but it has potential. 3 Hero Lives, crazy card still, because you have Stratos, so you can summon Stratos. You can technically summon Miracle Ejector, depending on how badly you think you're going to get hit by Droll. Speaking of, we play the 1 called by for the Droll. Play the 1 E-Call to act as our 4th Miracle Ejector and our 3rd Stratos. You could play more, but because once you go over 40 cards, it kind of has, in my opinion, it doesn't feel as good to run multiple of these. 1 Poly, because we search it. We search it multiple ways now, so honestly, if it wasn't a brick, I would kind of prefer to play it at 2. 1 Miracle Fusion. Again, another kind of brick. Another brick. Again, this thing can make a house with how many bricks it has, but this is End Shuffle. Super good card now that it is searchable in so many different ways. So your typical combo is Miracle Ejector, search and shuffle it away. Honestly, I've considered running this at 2 for the crackback. A big problem I did have that I was able to mitigate just because of the turn skip was honestly the crackback. If they had any interruption, but I was able to get the turn skip, but not any follow-up, it was really tough. And so being able to search another end shuffle, if I was able to put out another Miracle Ejector, would have been probably nice. Another thing I'm considering is one end shuffle and one instant contact. I'm gonna look into that. It is intriguing. Plus the draw is decent, but it messes with the actual combo. 2 mass change. I like it because Dark Law is still crazy. I was playing against a branded player and I turn skipped him and he was able to play through the turn skip because he was able to just to summon a monster. I think it was like Cartesia, and then set 3 and play because all I had was a turn skip. I didn't have anything else. And then, so he actually beat me that game. Game 2, I was able to actually make Dark Law and that did way better into his board. It might have been just luck, but a lot of the stuff that branded needs to send to Grave for cost. So a lot of it is mitigated. 2 Fusion Destiny, because we are playing DPE, spoiler, and we do have the Malleys and Denier. But again, because this locks you out of a lot of stuff, I don't like running it too much. 1 favorite contact for the FTK slash, if you're not doing that, Shining Neos is another good alternative, obviously. And then 3 Super Poly. I think this performed okay. It didn't actually perform that well in this deck. In my other deck, in the Fiendsmith going second deck, it performed incredibly well, but that's because you have the room to play this. This is a lot tighter of an extra deck, so it feels a lot worse to play this when you don't have the space. But breaking a board with Super Poly feels incredibly good. 3 Fua, because again, I still just play Fua. It's good into certain rogue, it's good into certain meta. It really depends. And then 3 Ash to stop any Fua that's on your turn. Granted, if you're playing the FTK, someone did Fua me once and I was able to still perform the FTK with the Stratos in hand and push through on the follow-up and just win the game. Kind of crazy. Next we'll go to the extra deck, pretty standard. Again, there's a lot of one-offs. So we have the 1 Infernal Devicer. Luckily, what's nice about playing the FTK and kind of threatening it in the meta is that if a user doesn't if they don't understand that you're specifically playing the FTK, they will Ash or Imperm at certain spots that are optimal against a normal hero combo, but are actually quite bad into the turn skip. One of them being trying to target Ejector is great. However, this is the linchpin because this adds 2 of your Exodia pieces to your hand. If they ever ashed or impermed this, it was over. I couldn't do anything for that combo specifically. Now, depending on when you do this in your combo, you can then go back to the normal hero plays, but it depends on obviously the interaction that they had previously. 1 Wonder Driver for the combo to also reset and play through turn 3. 2 Crusader, I really like this just for searching. It's not always needed, to be honest. Miracle Ejector is such a crazy card that it gets you there without this card. So this is just a way to get you another hero, however. 1 Dark Law, it might be 2. Again, I'm still working through this extra deck a little bit. 1 Shining Neos Wingman, as often should be the case. Then we have the 1 DPE for the Destiny heroes. DPE still comes in clutch because in a simplified game state, it is still a crazy good card. So never sleep on that. We have Sunrise. Sunrise is the next one, part of the combo. A couple cards that have been putting in work, right? So we have the Voltic Thunder, right? Now this card is crazy. It just came out in Maze of, I'm gonna butcher it, so I'm not gonna try. But it came out in Maze. And it is crazy good. Being able to special summon and then on summon, pop everything else on the field as a going second card is crazy. It forces interruption. And then secondly, the effect, if it was made with a normal monster, to summon one from the grave, contributes to so many of our combos because if you keep Stratos in grave, you can use Stratos again. Infernal Rage, Search's favorite contact, super good, and also contribute to summon another level 7 or lower elemental hero from the deck or extra deck, ignoring summon conditions. I'm still playing Wake Up. Honestly, I think this is probably the last run I have with Wake Up because it's good, But with the Masked Hero stuff, I think sacrificing that for Trinity or other plays is just worth it. And as you can see, I'm not playing the Masked Hero stuff because I couldn't find it in time and I got a little stubborn. But I think the Masked Hero stuff makes this deck way better, even the turn skip. Nebula Neos, this is strictly for showing your opponent to add the 2 cards. And of course, the man slash entity himself, Cosmo Neos, turn skip. Once it's summoned, it's uninteractable and your opponent cannot activate cards or effects. I had a branded player game 1. I was able to crack his board when he went first and make the turn skip, and he scooped, and he told me straight up, he's like, hey, I am going second board breaker branded. I cannot beat you if you go first. So I'm gonna give you game 2. So he scooped and he said, I'm gonna give you this game and I'm gonna give you the set. I went, what? He's like, yeah, I have no way to beat that deck. And I'm like, okay. Could have bricked, it's always the case. Granted, again, there's so many 1 cards that it's hard to brick if you're against breakers. But yeah, so he was a nice guy. It was a fun game for sure. And then super poly targets, Mud Dragon, Garura. Nothing crazy there, pretty normal. I had Ship of Theseus, but took it out, it was not performing well. Now for the side, pretty standard stuff. We're doing breakers again. So I'm a big fan of breakers. It might be better to do hand traps, but again, I'm a personal fan of breakers. But please feel free to substitute these out for whatever kind of sideboard you're thinking of. But 3 thrust. And then of course, we have a bunch of thrust targets. We have Duster for back row hate, Talents for player hate, and then Pot of Sloths. I will get a 3rd eventually. I love this card. This card performed so freaking well. It performed incredibly well. it unironically performed awesome. I had a hand where I was able to Pot of Sloth, then he tried to respond with something and then was waiting for a response from me so he could use his negate in Cool Tune, and I super polyed as a response, and it felt awesome. Because he ended on a weird board where you're normally not supposed to be able to super poly, but he did, so thank you that guy. It felt so good. 2 Regeki, more of like an idea, a thought experiment of what happens if I do Regeki. Never saw it though, so couldn't tell you. But in theory, I thought this would do well, but I have no idea. It might not have. In that spirit, more back row hate / just combo hate, Lightning Storms. Only ever used it for back row though. And then finally, we got 2 Ogre. And then we got 2 Droll. Never went up against Sky Striker at Nats, so Droll was kind of not super good. Played against 1 Mitsurugi, which I definitely wish I had Droll for, but I never saw it. But I still ended up winning just because I was able to push through his board. The other thing that I put Regeki in for, and the reason I like Winomats is you can kind of change up your list. Not during the Winomat, obviously, but once you're done, you know, depending on how you feel or what you're feeling for like the people bringing certain decks, you can adjust. So one of the adjustments I made is I had a smaller side deck. I didn't have a full 15. And one of the things I had was Anacraft. I had Anacraft where they set up 4. And I was like, man, Regeki would have been super good into that. And so I got it and I never saw another one. But again, you know, you can kind of make those fun calls because it's a Winomat, it's $15.